Hi everyone, today we're going to talk about negative verbs and how to create accurate negative sentences. Let's look at these sentences. I do not always learn well in school. You do not use new methods. Machova does not usually read textbooks. We do not talk to new people. You do not often watch TV in a second language. They do not have fun in class. Notice that there is one sentence where we used does instead of do. That was a sentence with Machova. He, she, or it. She, in this case, Lydia Machova. What do these sentences have in common? Do you see how they all have do and does? And do you also see that they all have a negative marker, not? Let's look at the next sentences. These are sentences with negative statements with the verb be. I am not a Russian speaker. You are not from Ireland. He, she, it. He is not a language mentor. We are not Brazilian. You are not a podcaster. They are not geniuses. What do you see that's different in these sentences? Do you notice there is no do support? When we have the verb be, we do not use do or does or did. Let's look at these two sentences. I am not an Arabic speaker. I do not meet new language partners on Facebook. What's different between these two sentences? Do you see how one sentence has do, but the other doesn't? That first sentence is using the main verb be. So when the main verb is be, we do not have do support. In the second sentence, the main verb is the verb to meet. So we need the do support. Do versus does. So we talked about how he, she, or it, third person singular, needs the form does. So let's look at these sentences and tell me what you think is correct. If you need me to put me on pause, go ahead. And the correct answers are Machova does not think learning languages is hard. Some people do not try to learn a second language. And a polyglot is not a genius. So just to recap, if your subject is he, she, or it, we use does. Does not or doesn't. If the subject is I, you, we, they, the helping verb is do not, or don't. If we're talking about the past, it's did for all of the subjects. Did not or didn't. Let's take a look at these questions and please put me on pause so you have a chance to practice writing down the answer. Benny does not worry about making mistakes. Lucas is not scared of technology. Notice the main verb is be, so there is no do support. Benny and Lucas do not use only one unique method when they learn new languages. Lydia Machova does not watch her favorite show, Friends, in her native language. She watches it in German. Notice the verb is be. You are not familiar with language learning software like Anki and Brainscape. Now, try to complete these sentences in the past tense. So, use did if you need to, but if the main verb is be, don't use did. Lydia did not like to learn from a boring textbook. She was not a polyglot when she was born. She worked at it. And remember, all of these forms could be in the long form, which we use in writing. She did not like, or they could be in the short form that we typically use in speech. She didn't like. She was not, the longer form, and she wasn't. Here are some common mistakes. Please put me on pause, think about them, come back, and check your answers with mine. The answers are Machova doesn't speak Hindi. She doesn't like to read boring books. I don't like to read boring texts either. I am not a polyglot yet. So make sure that these mistakes that are very common, you're avoiding them. So if your subject is he or she or it, like Machova, make sure that your helping verb has the S on the end of it. In number 2, don't include an extra S in the main verb. The main verb should be in the base form. In number 3, make sure you include the helping verb and also use the negative marker not no. And in the 4th sentence, don't forget the verb. In conclusion, make sure that you use do support or do, does, or did in negative sentences unless you are using the main verb be. Use does when your subject is third person singular, he, she, or it, and use do for all other subjects. Use the base form of the main verb. And that little S that we always talk about that we need to see in he, she, and it, the S will be marked on the do support and the main verb will be in the base form. So these 2 sentences show she speaks German and she does not speak Farsi yet. So notice that the S is on the speaks in the affirmative sentence, but there is no S on speaks in the 2nd sentence. The S is on the do support, does. She does not speak Farsi. And finally, use did as a helping verb if you are trying to communicate an idea in the past. Okay, thanks so much. Bye.